All right. Oh, here we are.
Hello.
We're on. Hello, Cheryl Arkle.
Caroline Overington.
And what are you reading? Do you know, Caroline, this is such a popular segment. People love to share what they're reading with us and with each other. And they love to talk about whether they like the book or whether they don't like the book. And so many readers out there, you know, so many of them read 50 books a year, 80 books a year, blah, blah. Do you know how many you've read in a year?
I would well over 80.
Yeah,
well
wow.
over 80, yeah.
Yeah.
I should keep a list. You know, some
Yeah.
people keep a list.
Yeah, these guys do keep a list.
Do you know, I once met a woman who had kept a list of every book that she had ever read.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
in these
extraordinary.
kind of
Well,
written-
tell us if you keep a list. Yeah. And is it like in a notebook?
In a notebook. In one of
Yeah.
those red notebooks, you know, that you can get. And she had it
Oh,
all in there. And so
right.
then she could
Well, you
sort of-
could put it into this notebook as well. Oh, yeah. That was a good segue. This is a notebook, and you can jump on and buy the notebook, and you can do that.
But then also you could go, for example, like, oh, okay, so 2022, that was the year I got married, and that was also the year I read. Oh,
Yeah.
and the books would become the story of the year as well.
Oh, well, there you go. Did you ever keep a journal?
No.
No, neither did I. Okay, so Caroline Overington, Cheryl Arkle, what are you reading? Wonderful segment. Everybody loves it. We're going to say hi to people. Hi, Christine. Christine says hi to us. Hi, Cheryl and Caroline. We've just started reading Canticle Creek by Adrian Hyland.
Haven't seen that.
No, Sharon says hi. Cindy, good afternoon. And yes, I keep a list on my iPad.
There you go.
That's it. Melissa, she keeps hers on the Goodreads app, and I
Right,
know a
yeah.
lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Lisa says hi. Sally says hi. Robin says, that she's reading Horse by Geraldine Brooks. Isn't that a wonderful read?
Did you see that it made the New Yorker's Books of the Year? There were only 6 Australians on that list, and Geraldine Brooks was one of them.
It was a New York Times book.
New
was it?
Yorker, I think.
Oh, New Yorker. Okay,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
Books of the Year.
Books
She's
of the Year.
fantastic, isn't
Yeah,
she?
she
She's just
really
terrific.
is. So you tell us what you're reading, and we're going to tell you what we're reading. Okay, we're going to start with a lovely Judy Nunn. This is called The Long Weekend. It's a collection of short stories. Judy was in the other day. Actually, she was doing this segment last week, and I know that you all love her. She does so much research when it comes to writing, and she wrote some of these stories as an ebook, and then she's written a few new stories and put it all together, and it's called The Long Weekend, and it's by Judy Nunn. Do you love Judy?
I love her.
Oh, don't you love her?
And she's also a blast.
Yes.
She's so much fun. And
Isn't
loud.
she? Yeah. We just love her so much. I want to talk about George Saunders' Liberation Day. I love George. And for those of you that listen to our podcast, you know I love George a lot. This is a collection of short stories. And it is about, there's all sorts of stories here, all with a slight political stance, even though he denied that to me when I spoke to him. But anyway, there is, one of the stories is called A Love Story, and it's about a grandson and a grandfather. And the grandson is asking the grandfather, how is it that, that democracy is gone? And what did we do as a generation to protect it? Anyway, really remarkable. It's giving me goosebumps. I recorded a podcast with him. This is the book, Liberation Day. Read it, listen to the podcast. I love this man. So smart, so quick. Do you love him?
He's one of the best.
He is one of the best. Okay, I'm going to go through these, and then we're going to go over to you. Hang on a second. Julie says hi. Sandy uses the Goodreads app as well. Kylie, hi ladies, hope you're both well. I'm currently reading The Girl Who Fell from the Sky by Emma Carey. It's a biography. Emily's reading The Sentence. Sharon's just started reading Keeping Up Appearances by Tricia Stringer. We love Tricia. Mary says hi. Cindy, currently I'm reading a book from the Zodiac Academy, book 3. I have Dirt Town to read. Meredith Appleyard's book, No Job for a Girl, but I did go out and buy T. Cooper's book, The Butterfly Collector, and also Chris Hammer's The Tilt. Now, Cindy is one of, I think she's up there with 80 to 100 books. And because that's a segue with T. Cooper, I'm going to hold up look at that beautiful cover.
It is beautiful.
And also we recorded a podcast with Tia, a lovely podcast, but also she's doing our event next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. It'll be Tia Cooper live, and I know you guys love that event. So don't forget to join her then. All right, now, what have you got? Over to you.
Did you read this?
Can we see your bag?
Yes, look, I bought them in my, what are you reading, tote?
There you go. That's Caroline's bag.
Did you read this?
I have flicked through it. I haven't read it, but she came in the other day and chatted with us.
It's terrific. I was
She's
really not
gorgeous.
sure. I thought, I love
It's a love
Bryce
story,
Courtney, but
isn't
do
it?
I need
Do you
to?
want me to hold
It
you up?
is a love story.
Because you're not good at holding up.
Am I not?
No.
There you go.
I'll hold it up for you. There you go.
It is a love story.
Yeah.
But it's not just their love story. It's also about Bryce. And one of the things that really surprised me was she said he stayed insecure his whole life. No matter how much success he had, and no matter how much people said, oh my God, I love you, and there's hardly an Australian house without a Bryce Courtney book in it, he remained really insecure all his life, and it was because of the childhood that he had.
Yeah. Do you know, and I tell this story, listen to the podcast with her, with Kristen Courtney that we recorded the other day. But I said to her in this podcast, I was at the Art Gallery of New South Wales many, many, many years ago, and I saw him there with his first wife, and they were having coffee or tea or lunch or whatever. And I was with a friend of mine, and I said, that's Bryce Courtney, right? And he said, are you going to go and say hi to him? I said, no, because he won't remember who I am, because I'd met him a couple of times because I was a bookseller on the shop floor, and he often walked in and spoke to booksellers. And do you know what? He stood up and he came over to us and he said, hi, Cheryl Arkle. Could you believe that? I mean, the guy, astounding memory, great. He was one of the first authors, I think, that really recognised the value of connecting with readers. And he did it in his own way. And
he actually loved his readers.
He did.
And you can tell from the book too, many times in his life he was like, I cannot believe that I get the opportunity to do this. And it's only because readers are picking up my books.
Yeah, no, it's astounding, isn't it? Okay, what else have you got in that lovely bag?
Can I talk about a book that's not out yet?
Yeah, sure.
So next year, Dr. Sonia Henry. So she had a book last year called Going Under, which was about being a doctor. It was fiction. But this next one is about being a doctor in the outback.
Oh, wow.
And she's one of those fantastic young Australian women that you come across from time to time who has gone out there into those communities where people don't want to work, where they can't find GPs, and she has done the hard yards. She did it after her heart was broken in Sydney. She found out that who she thought was her boyfriend actually had quite a lot of other girls. You'd have heard that story before. And so she decided...
That's another book.
That's right. So she decided, I'm going to go out there into Outback Australia and regional Australia, and her book is coming out with Alan and Unwin next year. It doesn't at this stage have a title. It's the doorbell. It doesn't at this stage have a title, but she did say that it's something along the lines of, in the middle of nowhere, anything can happen.
And do you know what month it's coming?
I think it's going to be about April.
Okay.
But if it hasn't got a title, I mean, is that unusual? Should it have a title yet?
We're going to the printers soon. I think by the time it goes to the printer, it'll have a title. So the next couple of months.
And you know who else has got a new book out next year?
Anna Funder.
Oh,
I knew you were going to say it. I know. Yeah,
she's got a book out called
Stasi Land. And what was the first book?
I mean, she is All That I Am.
All That I Am.
She is one of Australia's best writers, bar none. Absolutely fantastic. And I think an Anna Funder book is just reason to celebrate. And I think it is also out in April. It's called Wifedom. The cover is beautiful.
Now, can I tell you an Anna Funder story?
Yes.
When COVID hit, I decided to speak to a few authors about what it's like for an author to be now locked down, even though they're, how the effect on their work, on their art.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I spoke to Anna Funder, I spoke to Penny Carey, I spoke to Kate Grenville, a few people. But it was all new for us. Like, this was in the first couple of months, and I was recording podcasts from home, and I wasn't really used to the technology. And we had a conversation, and I didn't press record. Yeah.
Was she great?
Gentle, beautiful, just took it in a stride. Don't worry. I was mortified, but that's the kind of person she is. She's very lovely.
So we should be definitely looking out for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Julie is reading The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth and listening to The Great Circle. So this is another thing, Carol, and a lot of our readers read hard copy, of course, but they also listen to books. Do you listen?
I certainly do, especially, I'm interested that Julie was just saying that she's listening to The Great Circle because it's really fat. And I really like to listen to the longer ones. Other people like to listen to the short ones. I like to listen to the longer ones because you can actually be really immersed in a story while you're doing your morning walk, or you're on your treadmill, or you're vacuuming the house, or you're cleaning the car, and you can have your audio book on. It can last you all week, maybe even 2 weeks, and you're lost in the story in a different way because you can do other things while you're listening, which you can't really when you're reading.
You know what you can't do? I can't follow a recipe while I'm listening. I have to pause it and read the recipe and then come back to it. So I find reading and listening a bit hard. But, it's different for everybody.
Interesting.
Yeah. Melissa says, hi, I'm reading Playing Under the Piano by Hugh Vonville. And he's the Downton Abbey guy, the master, isn't he? Christine is currently reading East of Alice by Annie Seaton and loving it. Bev says hi.
Hi,
Leslie
Bev.
says hi. Kerry's reading Undercover. Is that
I've not heard of
MAGE?
that.
I don't know
No.
that, by Karen Sutcliffe. Book 1 of the series. Kylie said it's a beautiful cover. I think she's referring to this cover.
It is a beautiful cover.
Yes. Leslie is reading Before You Knew My Name, which has been a favourite in the office.
Hasn't it? That's done really well.
Really well.
Yeah.
Sandy's is reading Out of the Box by Silbury. She's the Google Box person.
The Gogglebox girl, yeah.
Oh, Gogglebox. I've never watched that.
Gogglebox is fan. You've got a great sense
I
of humour.
know.
You would love Gogglebox.
Would I? Okay. So interesting to read about the lives of 3 generations of women. Yeah, absolutely. Linda Lane is reading The Wedding Dress, Sewing Circle. Yes, that's the lovely Australian writer, isn't it?
Yes.
Meredith. Can't get a surname. Somebody tell me who wrote that book, The Wedding Dress Sewing Circle. Paula has just started The Registrar. I've been
lots of doctor books around.
I've been recording what I read in and she's also been recording what she reads in a book since I was a teenager, and she also uses Goodreads. That's Paula. Is that interesting? Annette, I have read 3 books this week. The Ruby in the Smoke by Philip Pullman, Detection Unlimited by Georgette Heyer, and Summer of My German Soldier by Beck Green. Wow, Annette. So obviously not much else was done this week.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm jealous. Faye says hi. She's reading Our Missing Hearts by, oh gosh, that's a segue for us, Faye. By Celeste Ng, and 15 Seconds of Brave by Melissa Doyle. Oh my God, that is 2. Faye, do you get your recommendations from Better Reading? Because that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So this is from the best-selling author of Little Fires Everywhere, and this is her heart-wrenching novel about a mother and child set in a dystopian USA.
Fabulous cover.
Isn't it lovely? And Melissa Doyle, lovely Melissa Doyle, she was in the office a couple of weeks ago. She was also at our lovely lunch, as you know, and this is 15 Seconds of Brave. I chatted with her, and the podcast is out now.
She's a fantastic person.
Isn't she
really
a lovely
nice,
person?
yeah.
I couldn't believe she had a 22-year-old. She looks like 22 herself. Okay, what else have you got?
Oh, what else have I got? Oh, I've got is everyone reading the Matthew Perry?
Yeah, wow. Is anyone reading the Matthew Perry?
Are you all reading this?
Do you want me to do
You
that?
do it.
There
you
you go.
do it. It's super pervy and really interesting conversation about addiction and how
very
to overcome
candid.
it. And there's something about that face on the cover. It's almost like he would want to flirt with you, don't you?
Yeah. But what a life. I mean, probably half or 3/4 of his life has been filled with addiction. But yet he's managed to work, he's managed to become a heartthrob, and he's managed to write a book. I mean, extraordinary, isn't it?
And to be so open about it too, I think is really generous of him.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to find out why he thinks he developed an addiction.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Okay. Virginia, just finished Year of Wonders by Geraldine Brooks.
Geraldine
we love
Brooks.
her. It's a novel about the plague set in 1666. Fascinating historical novel. Thank you, Virginia. Julie, oh my God, I love watching Caroline getting passionate about a good book. There you go.
I know.
We just love Caroline, full stop.
I know. It's like when you go to a party and people say, hey, what should I read? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know we founded the business? I don't know if we've ever spoken. I know I've spoken to you about this, I think. But this whole business, Better Reading, was founded on the fact that I have worked in the book industry forever, 30, 40 years, a long time. It is founded on the fact that everywhere I go, because I worked in a library and then I'd worked in a bookshop, and people will start talking to me about books. And the question was always, can you recommend a good book, or what are you reading? No one ever said to me, or or ask me what not to read.
Yeah, totally. I remember
It
you
is-
discussing that with me when you
yeah.
first started the business, the idea that nobody wants to know what book is total rubbish. They all want to
Yeah.
know, what should I pack in my car this summer to take to the beach house that's going to be satisfying? I can lose myself in it. I can have loose hair and a cotton
Yeah.
dress and a morning swim and lie in the hammock and lose myself in a fantastic book. That's what they want to know. They don't want to know what is total rubbish.
That's right. And, reviews have, for a long time, not now so much, were really based on, what they didn't like about the book. And so we started this business. And now I get to hear it firsthand, because all of these lovely people at home, they've got that too, and they tell us what they're reading. And you know what I love about them too, Caroline, is if they don't like something or they can't get into a book until page 200, somebody will jump in and say, no, keep going, or no, let go in here, or whatever. So it's just this wonderful conversation about books and reading.
And you know what else? They never give away the ending.
No, they don't give away the
good
ending.
people never give away the
No,
ending.
they don't. So Jessica says, hi, I'm reading For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. Julie, who loves you, is listening to the long ones. She loves to read a long audio book. To hold them physically can be a bit imposing. Leanne is reading The Lost Art of Letter Writing by Mina Van Prague. The title intrigued her. Kaz is reading The Hunt by Faye Kellerman.
Faye Kellerman, yeah.
Kylie doesn't watch Gogglebox either. Well, you're a bit like me, Kylie. I thought it was Googlebox. I'd never heard of it. So anyway, but I'm going to find
What is that? What people are looking up on the internet?
Right. Julie said, it's Meredith, I think. Meredith Appleyard is who wrote that book. Thank you, Julie. Lisa is reading Mad Honey by Jodie Picoult. Keep my need to purchase lists on my notes. My to-be-asked stack is on my Book Buddy, and my finished list on Goodreads and Storygraph, and a spreadsheet which keeps stats. Complicated but fun.
Complicated.
Lisa, I'm getting the impression that the keeping of records is as important as the reading for you. But whatever works, right? Yeah. Whatever works. What else have you got in your bag?
Has everyone read this? You do it because you're good at that.
Yes.
So
wow.
Some of you will know Nick Cave through his rock music, and others will know Nick Cave because he's married to Susie Bick, who is the Vampire's Wife fashion label. And others will know that he lost a son, one of his teenage boys, to a terrible accident where he fell from a cliff. And this book is the conversation between Nick and his dear friend Sean. They've known each other for a long time. I'll just show you. It's not a book like you think. It's questions and answers. And in this, look how I've.
Yeah,
I know. I had
to
mark every
like that,
page.
I'm not sure they'd like that.
I know. Some people are like, they're purists, but I mark every page because sometimes I quote in the paper when I'm writing about a book. I need a quote and I mark it. But it's a beautiful contemplation of grief, and it's a beautiful discussion, I think, as you pointed out, between two men about what really matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's really. I'm going to pick it up on your recommendation. Okay, Danny, I'm rereading for the umpteenth time the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Nice to revisit. Stacey, loving this. Oh, thank you, Stacey. With love from Wish and Co. I write all the books I read and listen to in the back of a yearly diary, even the few I don't finish, as they don't grab me.
Yeah.
Oh, so you put a little notation on them. Don't grab me. I love that, Stacey. Kylie bought but haven't read it yet. So that was one of the books we were talking about. The Matt book.
That's the Matt, I think, the Matt Perry.
Mary said, yes, loving Matthew Perry hard copy. I heard audio is fab too. Okay.
Does he read his own audio? Do you know?
Well, we'll ask Mary. Mary, does he read his? Does anyone know?
I think he might.
I don't know.
It's become a bit of a fashion for authors to read their own books.
Yeah. Oh, look, I remember when
Barack Obama.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Michelle Obama.
Bill Clinton. Malcolm Turnbull.
Nigella Lawson.
Does she? She doesn't sit there and read cookbooks.
Yeah,
that would be like audio porn.
There was a book that she wrote about, musings and food and all sorts of things, and she read it, and it was really lovely.
Beautiful? She's got a voice like honey.
Yeah, gorgeous. Divine. But when I listened to the Michelle Obama, it was when I finished, I suffered terrible grief. Because I thought I'm never going to have another conversation with her.
Because you felt like you were talking to her.
She was my best friend. No one else was listening to this. on the planet except me. And it was just me and her.
That's a beautiful way of putting it.
That's the intimacy of audio, isn't it?
And especially if they're reading their own books.
Yeah.
I wonder if they really like it. I think it must feel wonderful.
Anyway, okay, Carmel is reading The Working Wives.
The Work Wives.
Oh, the Work Wives. It's the
Rachel
Work
Johns
Wives.
is a fantastic
We both
person.
Yes.
She's a fantastic writer.
And also, we went to the Sydney launch, The Work Wife, and I interviewed her.
Did you?
Yes, and we invited some of the readers came and joined in the fun, and we had champagne and we had pizza afterwards, and it was great fun.
She's great fun.
She is. Stacey gets texts from friends asking me to recommend a good book. Oh, fantastic. You should start monetizing that, Stacey. Always loved the library since age 5 and nearly 60 years ago, and bookshops. I am a nurse, but I always send at least 10 recommendations in each reply. Stacey, you are the best friend to have. Isn't that wonderful? Faye, she only gets her recommendations from Better Reading, although she does enjoy Caroline's. The 3 that came home with me. I do too, Faye.
The 3 that came home with
I
me.
love that segment. I love it. So Caroline's on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle called?
Overington C, which is my surname, and then C for Caroline.
Right, okay.
And the 3 that came home with me is I get a massive pile of books delivered to the office every week because I'm the literary editor at The Australian. These are books that come in that people want us to review. And I always somehow manage to take at least 3 of them home with me. The others all go out to critics who are going to review them or whatever. But the 3 that came home with me are the ones that I think are really special or really interesting. And I do an Instagram, just 1 minute and 30 seconds.
They're fantastic.
Once a week, and it's called The 3 That Came Home With Me. And I've got a big light up 3. So you can tell that that's the segment. The other segments on my Instagram are just pictures of me and my dog.
Well, that's my Instagram too. So, Faye, I totally agree with you. I love that segment. And follow Caroline on Instagram. Maria says, good afternoon, ladies. Just finished Becoming Beth and Dreamland, now reading A Man Called Ove and picking up Caroline's book this afternoon. You go.
Thank you.
Jill says, reading The Keepers of the Lighthouse by Kay Dobby. Stacey also just finished Becoming Beth, loved it. Kylie, Jennifer Ryan wrote The Wedding Dress Circle.
Yes, we got that wrong.
We said
that it was Meredith, but Meredith had a different sewing circle.
Yes, thank you, Kylie, for clearing that up. Kylie's a big reader and she's very busy this year. I'm surprised you're on here today, Kylie, because she won the 100 books.
No way!
Yes, she did. Yes, she
did.
So she should be. You shouldn't be watching this at all.
So the truck is backing up at her place.
Thank you, Kylie, for clearing that up. Jessie says, "Hi, Cheryl and Caroline. Reading Christmas at Kura Creek by Janet Gover." What else have you got there in that bag of yours?
This one is not out until this. Oh, you do? Well, you do yours.
Can I do mine?
Yes.
Can I just do? Philippa Gregory, Dawnlands. Oh gosh, she is incredible.
Not a thin book.
No, and this is number 3 in the series. But she did the Wednesday 8 p.m. segment for us a couple of weeks ago with the lovely Jane in our office. Can I just say, she's a historian, she's a professor, she's an academic. She speaks beautifully, she writes really well. And this is the 3rd book in the series, in the Fair Mile series. And it's called Dawnlands. And I know everybody loves it. Now, Heather Rose has got a new book out. You might remember her
Tasmanian.
Yes, Tasmanian, the
Tasmanian.
Museum of Modern Love. And this is Nothing Bad Ever Happens to Me. And it's a memoir about loss and discovery. It's a heartbreaking, beautiful memoir. Well, we've all got something to grieve about, so I'm sure this will be really helpful. Okay, what have I got? Oh, Michael Connolly. Gosh, love a bit of crime. Desert Star. He's such a wonderful writer. I just feel
how big
as though,
is he? Like, I think he's one of the biggest writers in the world now by a long way.
Well, and also too,
men love him in particular. Women love him too, but men really love him.
And also because they're always really good reads, I think.
Yes. And also, if you're going to buy something for like an uncle, a cousin, a brother, maybe even your dad for Christmas, you can't go wrong. If you get him the latest Michael Connolly, they're going to be happy with you.
Okay, and then this is my last one. So this, you might remember, The Eighth Life, sold millions and squillions.
Yeah.
Look at that, talking about bricks of books, which doesn't deter our readers at all. And I'm sure so many people have read it. Well, this is the new book, and it's a love story about forbidden desire. And it's translated from German into English. And apparently this sold
Did you
millions of
did you
copies.
read this one?
No,
Yeah,
I
haven't read this
but
one
somebody
either.
would have read
But
it.
he's German, is he?
Yes, and they're translated
Ah.
to English. There you go.
That's
All right.
astonishing.
It is astonishing.
Well, that would take up your whole summer holidays.
Yes, Dawnlands by Philippa Gregory is Yvonne was talking about. Kylie says, oops, love it. Thanks again, Cheryl. I gave a lot away to my local library. Of
They're
the
going to
100
love
books.
you.
Yeah. And what a great thing to do. What have we got here? Yvonne has read Yvonne reads five books each week. Wow. Okay. What have you got? And
this
then we're
one
going to
is not
finish
out
up.
until next year.
Oh, well, you can't talk about that yet, but just
Can I not?
Well, okay, all right, we'll let you do that. Well, you know, there's nothing more annoying than being told to read a good book and then you have to wait.
But sometimes I have to read ahead of time,
Okay.
because what happens is they say, well, this is coming out. Do we want to do an interview with the author? Do we want to get a review? So I have to do a little bit before.
I know.
She's Australian.
It's called an advance copy, and our people know about those.
Yeah, it's an advance copy, but
Yeah.
I have to work a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
So it's Kate Legg used to work for the Australian magazine, you know, the weekend magazine. It comes out, which is the beautiful thing. She's a gorgeous writer.
Didn't what's he called work there? Trent
Dalton, yes, indeed. Fiona Harari, Greg Barrett, who did the Who the Hell is Hamish podcast, also works there. This is about the affair her husband had. It's a true story. Yeah, it's a true story, and she thanks her husband in the back.
Oh wow! When is it out?
I think April.
April. Okay. All right. Well, this is not out now, just so you know. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Nothing else in that beautiful tote bag of yours?
This tote bag.
Okay, this tote bag. Don't forget, you can buy any of the merch. I've got the T-shirt on. Caroline forgot to wear hers today.
You didn't tell me.
No.
Actually, I came straight from the office. I came from a very important business meeting.
There you go.
This was more fun.
This was way more fun. I'm sure all our readers at home have loved you. We love them. They're fantastic.
We sure do. It's really interesting seeing what they're reading.
It's so fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, we learn so much from this, and
totally.
I read every single comment. I mean, every single night I read all our comments on Facebook. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Thursday at 2 p.m. Bye.